Shh.
Are you having a stroke? or is that like a new kink language I need to learn?
That's it. That's like a hamster Gorlak, language. We're now going to be space aliens that are like gerbils from space that are having gerbil sex.
Oh.
I just nutted.
Is that the sound when a gerbil space? Yeah, I was about to say.
That's the gerbil nut. What's your gerbil space nut sound like? Ooh, very relieved at the end. I like that. Hey, that means the gerbil alien Gorlakian put in some work on you. This is good.
Yes.
I love this as a show opener actually because it takes away the anger and stress that I have in my life. So, but let's get to a show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Do you feel your sex life is quite lame? Perverted Podcast. Scared that your desires might be strange? Perverted Podcast. Come and join the kinky world of play. Perverted Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Perverted Podcast, the show where we explore the adventures of the kinky lifestyle, sex, and the ever-crumbling human mind.
Recording on Zencaster, where sex is like snow. You never know how long it's going to last or how many inches you're going to get. I'm Path Girl.
Oh! Did you write that?
No. That is from the internet. I cannot.
Okay. All right. It's still you landed it. You landed it well. So
I stuck the landing.
You stuck the landing. That was a fun joke. Good opening. So, oh shit, man. I'm get the fuck off my arm. Fuck. God, it's like a straight jacket.
There goes the gerbil again.
Fuck. Have you ever been trying to take like Cooley and because we're doing a show here, professional show, completely professional show, as you can tell by our gerbil sex opening. And so as a professional, you try to stay on the microphone, but I'm like, God, it's hot. I'm going to try to take off this sweater. And then it knots in your arm, and now I hurt my arm, and I'm trying to be cool about it, and then it turns into a straight jacket, and I'm claustrophobic, and I just had a fucking conniption trying to take off a sweater, being cool. That's just not going to happen. It's been a wild week for me, and
yeah, I can imagine.
Nothing good, but just doing it, and living the dream, and hope. And that's what we like. That's my gratitude today. I have hope in Perverted Podcast. I have hope in our audience. I love the stuff that Uncle Creepy's been doing and working on, and that you've been doing. And it's just such a centering thing to just come to this show and go, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is the service.
You're supposed to be for professionals.
We're not professionals. There is zero. We are 10-year amateurs. Usually after a number of years, you kind of get polished. No. No. We have digressed. We've actually gotten worse.
We've digressed. We've regressed.
We're all just bumbling 5-year-olds at this point. But please tell me something's gone in your vagina.
Unfortunately, no, because here down in the south, as Creepy might be talking about also, we are dealing with not only Snowmageddon, we are dealing with Iceageddon. So poor Donis has been living at his job pretty much all week.
God.
So my vagina's been lonely.
Oh my God. Can you phone sex?
Not while he's working. He's out on the floor,
yeah.
Especially down here in the south is the bread and milk patrol, and he's like an assistant manager in a dairy department. So it's been the ever vanishing. Like he gets a pallet of milk, he puts it out, he turns his back for 5 minutes, it's gone, it's like he's. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that in Los Angeles. I mean, we had it during COVID, but it's like you guys have real weather. And so that's a thing when it's like, hey, you're going to be snowed in. Well, we need to get supplies or we don't have them once we get snowed in.
Well, and here's the wonderful thing. It's not even snow. They're predicting like a ton of ice. So I'm predicting I'm going to be losing power. So I guess I'll have to snuggle next to him. So maybe I can get some fun stuff then. Keep warm.
Hey, that is survival fucking right there. That is.
Exactly.
That is, boy, make friction. This is caveman days. This is sticks rubbing with stones to make fire. This is you make fire. We could die. Frostbite on the fingers, but that vagina is going to be
nice and toasty,
pink and toasty and healthy. The next show you'll be like, ha, ha, ha. And I go, can you just put the microphone up to your vagina because I think we're going to get a better show out of that. Your vagina is going to be like, oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's nice and warm in here. Why are you guys complaining? Jeez. I'm perfectly fine.
Fucking toasty, I'm moist, everything's fucking good.
You don't need 10 fingers and 10 toes. You can do it a couple months. It's fine. Is your vagina?
If you have a warm cavern inside of you, the cockles of all of those. What is a cockle?
I have no idea.
Neither do I. Fuck it. Let's go into a topic.
You might not be the asshole, baby, don't sweat it. We're gonna tweak your brain nipples and you won't regret it. Talking about your stuff that you're asking all about on Reddit.
Okay, Path Girl.
Yeah.
I have to make a little disclaimer on this, which I don't usually do, but I felt because of some things that I'm going to say and touch on based on this topic, which we've had this topic. This is a very common conundrum in the kinky BDSM lifestyle. This is something, it's a sad thing. It's a confusing thing. It's fraught with just so many landmines and potential disasters and problems. And less likely it's going to all work out perfect. The majority of the time, this doesn't work out as you would hope. Sometimes it does. Great. I just have to say beforehand, because usually I go on one side or the other with this, and I'm going against the side I'm usually very stand-uppy for. And I realize that in the 10 years that we've been doing this show, and then, of course, all the years that we've been in the lifestyle before that, as you get new information and as you see more people's lives changing and affected by these certain topics, you get other opinions. It doesn't mean that it's that way all the time, because especially when we're reading something, we just go based on what's written. We don't know the life. We don't know. We just don't know. So we go based off what's written. So it could be completely wrong based on what the reality of that situation is. But our opinions kind of evolve. Like where at one time you're shaking the saber and you're fuck everyone, you, and then you see a number of these things go bad, and then you have to go, hey, there's other information here, and there's other possibilities that are more real. So I just want to say I don't know everything. I don't have these people's experiences, but I going based off what I observe. So if I come off as harsh or blah, 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 I'm just giving my opinions. And the more opinions you have, the more you can go fuck yourself with them. Sorry.
You're entitled to your opinion, and it can differ from ours, and your opinion can change at any time.
That is right. But and that's what the show's for. So I'll get into it. There's my disclaimer. And if you have any, you've read the topic. So, God, it pains me to read this. Discovered I'm submissive, but husband won't allow me to explore it. Feeling stuck. Any advice? Hi, everyone. Now, normally the ages don't matter, but I think in this case it really matters. I'm a female 43, married, male 49, with a young child. And I've recently discovered a strong attraction to submission and some aspects of BDSM. My husband isn't dominant, refuses to explore that with me, and won't allow me to have the experience outside of our marriage. I even proposed working with a professional online dom. No romance, no sex, but he still said no, afraid I'd develop feelings. For the past 2 months, I've been fixated on this. I've done role plays with AI platforms because that's all I'm, she put it in quotes, allowed. Yeah. But of course, that's not enough. I can't seem to let it go. I feel like I need to live this even just once to either exercise the obsession or truly discover who I am. I don't want to leave my husband. I still love him. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and our child is young. It's twice they've mentioned the age of the child. But he won't budge, and I'm struggling to accept the idea that I might never get to experience this. I realize there may not be a solution, but I need to say it somewhere. Thanks for reading. Let the games begin.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Normally, I'm very much about that. Follow your dream, your self-expression or whatever. But I've seen some things. So I'm going to let you go first. And then I'm going to kind of be an asshole.
Okay. Well, then I will just preface this with, personally, this strikes a chord with me. Sure. Because I was even though in my first marriage, my husband was kinky, I was not into doing kink with him. And that's when we had poly partners, and it brought up a whole bunch of problems. Also, being married with a young child, I was struggling with the fact that I had to deal with I want to have a kinky partner that's not my husband, but at the same time, I want to keep my marriage together because, quote, it's the best thing for the family.
Right.
I was also raised in a family where my parents are still married, even though they live in two separate apartments. Right. But they stay together for, quote, the best thing for the child.
Right.
Fuck that and the horse it rode in on. I mean, it boils down to, and I'll expand on it, but the main idea is she's got to sit down with herself and figure out, do I want this marriage or do I want kink? And it's not something you just basically go, oh, I want this, oh, I want that. There's no magic word or phrase or sentence that's going to make a non-kinky partner interested in kink. You're literally going to be banging your head against a wall, and people are allowed to feel the hell the way they want about kink. And now, if they're if her husband's basing this decision on like porn or just like what he's seen on TV and no education, then he could be making an uneducated assumption about kink. And if he were to get maybe a little education, he might change his mind. That would be the ideal. Right. But on the off chance of more than likely, he's basically dead set against it. I don't want to do anything. I don't want you to have poly partners. I don't want you to do a professional nothing. Then that's when you're gonna have to sit there and go, what's worth it to you? Do you want to be happy doing kink, or do you want to be happy with your husband and forget about kink? Because, we've all known those people that are like, I'm never going to do kink again. I'm just going to turn that off. Yeah. See how well that goes. Do you know how many people try to give up sugar and then go back to it? Right, Same thing. You just can't, you're going to squash that feeling down for a little while and it's going to come out some other way. I found it interesting that she's using AI. So if she's using AI to scratch that itch, if you will, and I really think she's opening a door where she's going to have problems later where she's not going to be able to close it. She's going to find something she likes. She's not going to be able to do it with her husband, and that's going to really screw her up. This would be a wonderful time to not only maybe try educating the husband about, like, here's a podcast, here's a video, something about kink education, Perverted Podcast, any of the other wonderful kink educators out there. Or she's going to also have to talk to a therapist, and preferably, and they need to talk to a marriage therapist as well. And basically, it boils down to, she's going to have to make the decision of, and it's a hard one. Do you want to be happy doing kink, or do you want to be happy in your marriage and not do kink? I mean, don't stay together because of the kid. Kids are very observant. I saw it with my family, and they will learn that they are two miserable people in a marriage instead of two individuals that are separated and happy. I mean, like, my son thrived through our divorce, and it's because we put the work in to basically co-parent and make our son understand that, yes, we parent and we love you, but at the same time, I'm married to Donis, and he's got a wonderful fiance who I love to death. And it's that's not the norm, and I get it. And I'm very blessed to have that, but you have to set the example for that young child, where basically, like, mom's got to be happy. And later on, if that child finds out that child is miserable, that's a lot to carry.
Yeah. I mean, in your case, that absolutely did work out. And this is where I'm going to start getting in that I think, I agree Of course, I agree that you have to be who you are and discover that. But I also think it's pretty shitty that in your 40s, you decide to have a young child and bring that child into a house, and then you're a stay-at-home mom, and now you've discovered that maybe, you don't know, this isn't something that's listed, that
True.
she's been attracted to this her whole life. You have a whole life of kink. This is part of who you are. You knew this is part of who you were, so you knew there was things. You were in polyamorous and swingers and this, and you've been through a lot of different types of relationships to know you cannot live without kink. This is not written like that. This is written like somebody who I've recently discovered a strong attraction to submission and some aspects of BDSM. I don't know. Yeah. It's just getting me turned on right now. We just have a young child. And I have seen people ruin families over this.
Oh yeah.
And it didn't work out. There's a lot of things going on here. And so I am going to go with the mom a little bit, but because usually I've always just joined you. I've always joined you and been like, fuck it, be who you are. The kid will fucking deal with it, blah, blah, blah. And then I see all these kids that don't deal with a fucking family upheaval and a divorce and a thing like that, especially a young fucking kid. You know, how old are we talking about? 4 or 5 years old? That kid's first off, sorry you're stuck. Your feelings are valid. I'm glad you're sharing this. I'm glad you're sharing this and trying to get opinions before you just jump at it after only a couple of months of having this new fantasy. So, unfortunately, this is a very real common thing because people do change. People do discover who they are later on in life. People do decide that they're, wow, I'm gay. I want to be trans. I want all of these things people discover later in life. But in this case, I have to put up a lot of warning flags because you're later in life and you chose to have a fucking child.
Yeah.
So there is now this child and more. It's not something also where she's talking about that the husband is a bad person. She's not saying, I still love him. I don't want to leave the marriage. I just want what I want right now. And he's not giving it to me. So there's some things in here that it sounds like very teenage when she puts like, I'm doing these role plays on AI platforms because that's all I'm allowed to do. Hey, guess what, bitch? Yeah. You entered a monogamous relationship. You didn't enter a relationship with saying, I'm kinky, I'm poly, I'm this, I'm that, and you better accept it or I'm not going to marry you. You entered into something, and now you've changed. You can't beat up the other person for not being what you have now changed into. This person is allowed to have their feelings. This person is allowed to stay monogamous. This person is allowed to say, I'm not interested. And you better goddamn well believe if you start fucking working with a dominant, the chance of you developing feelings and sexuality once you get somebody taking power and control over you.
Oh, God.
You think that's not going to happen? You are in fantasy land. You have not done this. So there's a lot of shit you don't know about. And I can just see it. I can just see it in this because I've seen it in multiple times. And once again, stay-at-home mom is a thing. And I worked with, I can't say I have any experience of this because I don't. But I do have experience working with kids. And a lot of kids when I was younger, and I worked at the YMCA and bus driver and whatever, and I had 80 kids for 10 hours a day. So I understand when you are in. That's why I kind of learned I hate kids, by the way. That when you are in kid mode for 10 hours and your voice is raised and everything is, you have to have this giant stupid filter on everything you say because you're dealing with a fucking idiot that knows nothing about anything, and everything is puppy talk and explaining things 20 times and over, and you have to control everything in their life. Absolutely. That is a prime candidate for needing something very adult at the end of that day. It is a natural thing. So I can totally understand. There are a lot of stay-at-home moms that you're so constantly in kid mode, you just need an adult break from that. So this is a real feeling she's having, and I'm not cracking against that. But what I'm saying is, whoa, wait a minute. Because you're starting to sound like a shitty teenager by saying, he's not allowing me to go be with a real man. Why most people in a monogamous relationship do not allow that. That is not something you would allow. There is nothing wrong with that. You can be upset by that and say, wow, I wish, but you're saying, hey, later in life, we decided to have a kid. I'm in an established marriage. That doesn't sound like he's an asshole or bad. You say you still love him. If this was somebody like you understood, you knew what the problems were in communication with your partners, and you could see this isn't somebody I want to play with. This isn't somebody I feel this connection to. I'm going to say your situation sounds different, much different than this situation.
Oh, yeah.
So,
there's similarities, but yeah.
Yeah, so this is a whoa for me, that it's like you don't even know what you're in right now. So you got a boner because this is your very adult explosion away from your constant having to deal with a child and other moms and their kids and all the, mom stuff you do with a little kid. You have to be really, really careful about this because you are playing with a bomb, and your boner, and men deal with this with you sound, from the way this is written, this looks like you're ready to go cheat on your husband.
Yeah.
That's what I'm reading. And this happens every day, so I'm not off base here. It may not be. You may just be venting and saying, hey, I just need to blow off steam. But the reality is you haven't been kinky your whole life. You've just now recently discovered that this is kind of hot, and you may want to pursue it. That's great. But you just started a family later in life. You have a young child. You have a husband that is supporting you. You are being paid for. The bills are being paid so you can stay and be with the kids. Very honorable. It's very good.
Yeah.
But you are dancing with the possibility of destroying all that so you can chase a boner. And if this isn't something that you know in your heart, I am never going to be happy if I don't do this. My thing is, don't fuck up that kid.
Yeah.
You better wait a few years.
God, please.
You better wait a few fucking years until that kid's old enough to kind of understand. Mom wants to break up the family because I have a boner.
Yeah.
I don't care how cool you think you present it. That's what you're telling the family. I have a boner, and I am going to go do this. This is why cheating men is shitty. This is why people are shitty. If you can just deal with this on your own and start developing your own fantasy life and your masturbation time and keep your fantasies as dirty and filthy as you can, there is something about accepting the fact that you made a commitment to a child.
Yeah.
You could have not done this. And then this would be easy. You just decide, well, I don't want to be with the husband. He's not kinky. And he, sorry, I know it's kind of dickish, but I've changed. You've changed. You haven't changed. And we're going to amicably go our own ways. But that's not a clean break now. There's a child.
Yeah.
There's a young child.
Yeah.
And I would normally always go with you, Path Girl. But I've seen stay-at-home mom, because now, like, what career does this chick have? Like, what are you going to do? What do you? Because what I've seen happen is, oh, I want to be kinky now. My husband doesn't want to be kinky, so now I'm going to break up the marriage and take the child, and now he's going to pay for my apartment so I can go fuck all the other dudes and explore my kink while I kind of still stay the stay-at-home mom.
Yeah. Well, wait. I'll even take that one step further, because as we all know, when people get divorced, all the dirty laundry comes out in the. Oh, yeah. So here's the thing. They decide to get divorced. husband goes to court and says, yeah, she wants to do kink. And, I don't think that's safe. Guess what? You're losing custody.
You're going to lose custody of that kid.
And here's the thing. Yeah, you're losing custody. Here's the thing. So, yes, I got divorced from my first husband. Kink was a big part of it, but not the biggest.
Right.
Our biggest thing was our own communication. But here's the thing. When I got divorced, not only did I blow up my marriage and blow up my family, I blew up my friend group because I'm not friends with any of his. None of his family want to talk to me because I'm the bitch that wanted to get divorced. My work, like every aspect of your life is going to change. And I had to sit down through therapy and realize I'm blowing up my life. 5-6 years later, my life is great again, but it took a lot of freaking work to get there. Yeah. And it's just yes, she may have discovered late in life that she's kinky. She may have had zero inklings about it. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah, but dude,
tread fucking lightly.
Yeah, don't go jumping in over. It's hot. It sounds hot. It sounds like, I'm gonna, because I've seen a lot of people divorce over this where they leave the relationship and then it doesn't work out. They don't find their dream partner.
No,
it's not like the fucking romance novel. They can't find a bunch of shitty dudes that treat them like shit, and then they had a bad experience, and now they've thrown everything away, and now they can't even find this. Now they're just, it has gone bad many, many times.
And here's another thought. So husbands saying, no. Take the kink out of it for a minute. Let's say she's just somebody that like sees something on TV, this business. Oh, I want to start this business. No, you can't do that because you're going to blow up our finances. Oh, I want to get this. She may be just somebody that's impulsive.
Yeah.
And he's the one that kind of reins her in.
Right.
So again, like in this instance, he's like, I've seen you do this with other things. Now you're doing it with kink. Hey, I have to be the voice of reason of you can't do this. So he may even not being, he may be not being unreasonable because it's kink. He may just being not unreasonable because this is all aspects of her life. I mean, I'm spitballing here, but it may just be that he's just trying to rein her in because that's what he always does.
It sounds like she's just wildly spun because this is all a couple months. This is in a couple months. She's gone from like, I've just kind of discovered this to I have to do this. Yes. I think I can throw everything away for this, and so that's where. Try not to be a dick because once again, it is a horrible feeling to be repressed and to not be able to do the things that you really feel you want to do. But the cost is real. There is real cost in this one.
Yes.
There is a real child. And I don't like kids, but I despise suffering. And I despise the fact that this kid is ultimately going to have to pay the price for whatever this decision is. Now, then, if time goes on and it gets worse and worse and worse, you have to do the groundwork. You have to start building that relationship with the kid, and you have to start building that relationship with the husband that, hey, we are separating. And if now we're staying together for the child until they get a little old enough to understand that, even if it's just a few years to like get everyone prepared. If you just jump up and be like, Mom's going to go do that, you're just like any other shitty deadbeat dad, cheating piece of shit that runs off and does it, in my opinion. Because you made the choice. You made the fucking choice to have that kid. So if that kid's not the priority in this decision, then you're being selfish. That's my opinion. You had the kid. Don't fuck up that kid. They don't deserve it. They didn't choose it. The husband, you can be like, yeah, sorry, bro. But I just, I don't know. I've seen enough end games of abandoned kids and not to mention my own shit, and how wacky I got. So, so normally I would be super like, yeah, do it, go for it, be your own best person. But I gotta say the kid and this whole thing just rubbed me like, yo.
I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. Yeah.
Yo, you just take a little time. There's nothing wrong with Matt. I've gone 6 years without the sex that I want, and I haven't died.
Yeah.
I went from obviously we talked you guys were all there with me. When the sex was amazing and plentiful and constant and whatever, and you can survive just fine. I have a healthy fantasy life. I stay involved in Perverted Podcast in these discussions. I'm constantly working with people and, helping them navigate their kinky lives and things like that. There are other ways, and you won't die. It's sad, but you won't die. And especially when you can really fuck up a kid.
Yeah.
And doing that. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully I didn't come off that bad.
No, but this really hit home. And I know there's probably a lot of people struggling out there with different versions of this, with and without kids, marriages, long-term, just because something hurts doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do.
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, good. Best of luck. Yeah. Best of luck. I had a vasectomy. And I don't get married. This is real easy. I've made things easy for myself, so I can only say I hope.
We're all kind of happy you never had kids, Boogie.
I'm joining you on this chorus. I am not. I look in the mirror sometimes. I don't have a lot of mirrors, but I do look in the mirror, and I knew from a very young age it would be best for you to not reproduce. It would. You are not a candidate for great human gene pool.
You need to exit the gene pool, please. You need to wade your way out.
You need to no. There's just...
no boogies in the gene pool. Boogie free zone.
No.
Uncle Creepy lurks around your bedroom once you're in his clutch. He penetrates the places where your mama said that good girls shouldn't touch.
Oh, yonder in the ice land of Uncle Creepy.
It is frostbitten land of Creepyville.
Are you not really playing? Not it. I heard it's like ice rain. I just talked to Path Girl, and she's like, you guys have like ice rain, which sounds just like the most awful, unfun thing in the world. That you're not really like. Snow is like, oh my god, let's go outside and have Mina push her boobs into the snow and make snow boob angels, and but when it's ice rain,
it's like shittier hail. Is what I would call, as how I describe it.
Moist hail.
Not even moist, just like stingy, hurty rain that just comes down and it just doesn't go away, and it makes everything dangerous. So
so no play scenes outside unless it's under a like a shed.
That's an interesting conversation too. They definitely got us scared enough we got everything set up, so I'm good.
All right. Well, we're plugged in. We got some stuff to talk about. I have heard that there was some shenaniganry.
There has been shenaniganry. In fact, an hour or so ago, I put Mina to bed with her afternoon fucking, and she likes to get wild and then go to sleep with her napping. So that's
a great weekend. I mean, that's like dream weekend for people with no kids. That is literally fuck and then nap and then eat.
Fucking nap. Yeah. That's what she calls it, being put to bed. And I'm like, I'll put you to bed.
Yeah.
I'm still in negotiations for my CNC adventures.
Okay, good. Glad you're taking time with that. That's the
Yep. We're gonna meet next week to discuss in person what exactly the parameters will be. I've written it all down, so I've got everything ready to discuss with them what exactly I wish to do.
Right.
And so I found, and fuck my life, Boogie. This person lives, let's say 3 blocks or so from my sister.
So after your fantasy rape scene, you can stop by Sis's and have a grilled cheese sandwich.
Say hi. Yeah. Hey, howdy. What have you been doing?
Hey,
Nothing.
What's up? You're all actually, or you could go before if you got to kill some time. You're like, hey, I got to go do this rape role play thing. It's totally consensual. We worked it out, but I just figured I'd hang out here. So have you talked to Mom recently?
Yeah, my sister will absolutely not be in any way, shape, or form happy with that conversation.
So your sister is not part of your kinky conversations?
Which is wild because she's a lesbian communist dating a trans woman. So I don't know where she comes across telling me I can't be poly and kinky, but that's how she is.
Well, everyone has their thing that I am righteous and you are not. And, people get their heads around things. Or maybe she has some, I don't know. We've never really talked about, because I know it's very normal to not have kinky conversations with your family members. They, like my dad knows everything I do. He knows the show. He knows I'm recording right now. We talk about it, but he has zero interest in like, hey, Dad, here's all the cool, exciting stuff we're talking about. He's just not into it. So you don't have that relationship with is your mom still around? Yeah,
Mom's still around. This is my half-sister that lives here, so I have no contact with her father or her mother. So she's kind of separated from my other sisters and my mom, who is in Texas, also freezing her nuts off probably. Right. So it's they all know. I don't mention the show or anything to them because I just don't want them to. They don't care. Yeah. So I just don't bother with it. My mom knows that I am sometimes poly, not too wild on the kinky stuff, but from the stuff I've seen from their when their past was and some of the receipts they've had of places like Hedonism. They went to a place called Hedonism in Jamaica, which I believe is a swingers nudity collar. Right?
No, Hedonism isn't. It's either a resort or a city. I don't know. I remember when I worked in radio, it was in Los Angeles, and we'd give away vacations to Hedonism, Jamaica. So I don't know if we're sounding dumb. It's either a city or some sort of resort. And
I think it's a resort.
It's a party place.
Yeah, it's definitely a party place. There's lots. All I know is it's a nudity resort. I'll look it up after the fact, but yeah.
So they went. So they had. So Mom and Dad did some cray cray. Got a little wild. Got a little naked in the sunset. A little possibly experiment.
Sure.
Some things.
Then that's all on them, and that's where I'm going to end this conversation.
It makes you uncomfortable? Because I don't like if my dad tells me his sex stories. I mean, not all the time, but he's talked about, and then I had this chick at a campground, and we fucked in her sleeping bag, and she was on her period, but it was still good, and my other friends were sitting there trying to hem and haw, blah blah blah, like old people. Yeah. Fucking stories. And good for you, man. I'm glad to hear my dad had a life and love.
Agreed.
And at least it's he has all sorts of. Did you just die or fall off a chair or something?
No, the dogs. Do you want to cut that part out?
No. It just sounded like you literally just died. Like fell
off
the
chair
Mina. Or something.
It's Mina here to ruin my recording.
She has woken up and
she's stumbling around fucking like a newborn baby giraffe, like my pussy. She's like, yes.
Oh man. What a horrible, horrible thing. Anyway, fuck it.
Yeah,
we've talked about enough stuff. Let's get into some fun.
Oh boy, howdy.
All right. Oh, wait, there's no break when we do it. Sorry.
Oh, there's not? Oh.
I just forgot.
And we're back.
We're back. We're back. Told you, 10 years. Total pros. Total pros. You can at least make the excuse. You're relatively new into the full-time Perverted Podcast thing.
Sure.
I have no excuse. So here's someone that came in. My daddy Dom assumed we were exclusive without communicating that. That's definitely problematic. I started seeing a daddy dom to fulfill my sexual and submissive needs. I did not equate this relationship to something romantic, but rather two people coming together to fulfill something in each other. In our contract and negotiations, he told me I had to tell him about BDSM and swinger parties. I did not know this meant vanilla partners. Essentially, he's telling me that DDLG is automatically assumed as romantic, and it was my fault for not knowing we were exclusive romantically as well. Ultimately, I ended it, but was my perspective flawed? Be brutally honest. He apparently was telling people I was his girlfriend despite us never hanging out. Besides to scene, and is upset I had been progressing with a romantic partner. Maybe I'm young and inexperienced. So it's edited. Let's see if this is relevant. I told him about this guy after our third date, and he didn't care. He only asked if I was using condoms. He didn't tell me I was disrespecting him, and I was his girlfriend until I wanted to end things after a bad scene. And then she talks about that they had a bad scene, and then, she ended it. And then he stopped, but didn't apologize, and instead told me I should have expected, like, whatever. So this guy's sounding like a douche. So that's the general thing. And I see obviously conflicts on both sides. So I'm going to let you go ahead and start. There sounds like a lot of assumptions, and even though there was negotiation, maybe there wasn't enough negotiation about some key things that we can talk about. I'll let you go first.
Well, yeah, I think so. One of the things that I enjoyed the most about this is that I learned a lot from this. I started recently to have non-romantic sexual partners, something that both myself and Mina have not experienced. This also came from an event that happened at one of the kinky Ren Fair things, where the one I'm negotiating with came up and was like, "Hey, I dig your costume. Can I suck your dick?" And we were stunned because that's never come up. I didn't know this person, and I definitely would have had I been unpartnered. But now my negotiations involve asking what type of relationship do you see us cultivating? A non-romantic relationship, or a romantic in any form relationship? Do you want me to come over and do sexy stuff with you and all these different things that involve the word sex? But do you want to cultivate a relationship? Do you want to make it romantic or not? And that is something that when I saw this, I was like, oh, shit, dude, people are having the same problem that I did. So when she goes through all this stuff, I mean, it just makes me kind of happy that she's able to recognize these things, and kind of sad that she didn't say, this type of relationship to me is not romantic. The automatic assumption that a daddy dom is automatically romantic is problematic.
It's problematic on both sides, but it's also not beyond expectation that when you start having sex with somebody, it is a type of relationship. You have to establish what type of relationship it is. And like you said, man, I don't know at what point that became mandatory. But life changes when every potential dating partner, relationship, whatever, starts with a very clear question. What are you looking for? That's if that is not the one question that you ask, if I can ever share anything, it's that question has so much power and so much clarity. And Path Girl and I just talked about, things change later on. It doesn't mean that it's going to be that way forever. But when you believe a certain thing, your point of view is your point of view based on your life experiences and what you know. And hers are hers, and theirs are theirs. And they may assume things differently. Everybody comes from somewhere different. So in something like this, where he's like, well, yeah, if we start fucking, then that means we're in a relationship and you're my girlfriend and it's a daddy dom thing. And this is how I think daddy dom goes because this is how I've always done it. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. You are entitled to have exactly what you want. But for you to assume that everybody in the world understands your definition of a relationship is where this problem comes up every day. Every day.
Yeah.
Just clearly asking, what are you looking for?
Yeah. I think that is one of the things that I've fought against personally, is because I can't. I feel I feel bad asking other people to help me fulfill a fantasy of mine, and mostly because it involves pretty intense, fucked up stuff, sans the ooey gooey, lovey-dovey feelings. I want to grab you, hold you down, penetrate you, and get up and leave. Right. And in all consensuality, all that good stuff and negotiations and such, but that is my fantasy. And broaching that with like any sort of conversation, like if somebody had just walked up to me and said, hey, what do you want? And I'd be like, here's exactly what I want. And they'd be like, yes, that is something I'm interested in, which this person that I'm in negotiations with has said, or no. And I could be like, okay, I don't feel bad for asking. Thank you for your conversation, and we can move on with our day. Is there anything else? What do you want? What are you looking for? Can I provide that? And it's been difficult for me because I've started speaking to people in more pickup situations at play parties and stuff, where normally I would have not interacted with them in that way at the event. It would always be pre-negotiated well before. So now I'm starting to learn the quickest, proper, and ultimately the easiest way to communicate to get a scene done and to start a type of relationship in one form or another. And
I think there's a lot of fear. That question is narrowing your possibilities. And I don't know if it's more guy, girl, whatever, it doesn't matter. The risk of rejection by asking such a blunt question, because I have to stand up for what I want.
Yeah.
Because no one else is going to. And I also have to not be so goddamn pathetic that I can't go a little time being alone until I can find what I want. But without that, you endanger having this situation where now there's expectations, feelings are being hurt, people are, this is it ends badly. It doesn't end good. It doesn't end clean. If you can just deal with the fact that, hey, I want what I want, and I want to find somebody that wants what I want. And if you can understand that there's a high rejection rate for that, like especially in your fantasy, there's a very high rejection rate in that. And you have to be willing, and we'll talk a little bit about ways to maybe ease into that conversation and getting in groups and things where there is an expectation of that exact kink.
Yeah.
You're going to do a lot better and have a lot more yeses than nos. But if you can deal with that rejection and understand that I'm doing this for myself, I'm doing this to make myself a priority in my own wants and desires, but I am also being a better person because I'm being compassionate about this person's wants, needs, and desires. And I'm allowing them to say what they want and don't want. And if I can't, I've turned down play. I've had people ask me for stuff that I'm like, that's not my thing. And it sucks because I'm like, oh my God, she's really cute and I want to do things with her. But I know that I would be dishonest. I would be manipulating the situation. And that's when you get into negative behaviors where guys are, and I've heard a lot of women that I've played with complain about this. They're like, yeah, he said he was kinky, because I really want to explore kink. And then, you go over and he gives you 2 pats on the ass and then fucks you. And that's, I think, very disingenuous. If you're not kinky, don't pretend to be what you're not. Or if you don't have that specific kink, don't pretend. Well, just get it out up front and be like, I don't do that. I'm not that person.
I had, so that's how I realized that I am not a 24/7 dominant.
Yeah.
That's when I realized we tried that with Mina. I tried that with my ex-wife, and I was forcing myself and just being like, I could do this. And I just, it turned out to be very disingenuous because it wasn't who I was. I couldn't provide them what they were asking for, and it eventually blew up. And I know now that I'm not that type of dominant. I can't do that. And I'm glad for those who can, but if people come up to me, and I've had a recent partner ask, and I flat out said no, and they were hurt, and we had a conversation, but ultimately I stayed true, and now we are discussing different parameters of that type of relationship to incorporate it into our play, into our conversations, and I feel it's moving forward. So the no was a no, but it was now how can I fulfill your fantasy in a way?
Because now it comes down to the human compromise. It's like, hey, we may not be a complete match on this exact dynamic or kink, but I still like you. We still like each other. There's still chemistry. Are there ways that we can work through this? And this goes across the board in all relationships. But if you don't have that initial conversation, it's all going to be surprises. And that's when things get defensive and hurt, especially if you have investment and feelings and, chemistry running in your brain. And it's so much more effective to start those first conversations. What do you want? Because I'll tell you, like for me, when a woman's like, I'm looking for a committed relationship.
Oh boy.
That's the end of the conversation for me. That's it. Not in a bad way. That's like, hey, totally. That's great. Good luck on that. That's not me.
But
in no way, shape, or form.
So that is the end of the conversation for you. You do not go like, that's not what I want, but what do you think about?
No, because that's what they want. They just, why am I going to fucking start manipulating? Now I'm manipulating and trying
is that
to
manipulation?
That's it. Exactly. That's you not being able to handle the fact that you are not going to get what you want. Because somebody has just literally told you to their face what they want, and you fucking know you can't do it. Then you say, I'm not the one for you.
Well, what I'm saying is that would you say, so you are honest with them and saying that is not something for me. Do you want to do something where it is not exclusive? It is not anything like that.
It depends on how they say, but literally especially with that, if you're talking about a kink where people are like, I like suspension bondage, and I say, I don't do suspension bondage. I'm not good at suspension bondage. I can do it, but it's in a fucking retarded way, and that's what you're going to get. I can do suspension bondage with saran wrap. I can do it this way, but then maybe I can, tell them what I can do, and they say, oh, well, I still enjoy that. Okay. But when it's something like a relationship, when somebody starts off with, I'm looking for a committed relationship, they did not say that because they want you to turn around and try to sell them on what they don't want. Yeah, so that's where it's kind of shitty.
Yeah, that was a bad example. What I meant was like when, like exactly like you said, when it was like, hey, I want to do some scalpel stuff with you, and then I would say, oh, I can't really do that. I've turned out bad, but I do needles. Like, You into that?
Sure,
like that, that back and forth. So
sure. Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting.
I mean, those are different. And it's the same thing with a dominant. I would do the same thing when someone's like, I want a full-time dominant. This is something I really, really want. Immediately, that's the end. I'm not going to be that for you. I'm not going to be for you what you have just said, because it just goes back to the same thing. I have to, people want what they want. And just because I'm not going to get what I want and I want what you have, if I don't have, you know what I'm saying? It just, it comes off as douchey. You just let it go.
You sound fucking douchey. Yeah. And
just let it go. Because so many people try to be, and what's the first thing a fucking dipshit says? Well, I don't know. I didn't think I was looking for a relationship, but I guess I'm open to it. Right there is a fucking lie. Yeah. They're lying to your fucking face. They're going to fuck you on the hood of your car and never call you again.
Yeah, what can I get from you before you eventually throw your hands up and leave? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the straight. Just say we're going to be buddies, And if you get to a point to where you just want to play, because then you don't want to push their buttons in fear of rejection, that they're like, oh, I really like this guy, but he doesn't like it. But now I'm going to compromise what I really want and believe that I need in my life and have done my work up to this point to that I really feel I deserve this. And now you don't want to throw gas on that fire because everyone has their insecurities. It's way more respectful to say, I totally respect your desires, what you want. And I think you should go for that. I think you should. And even though it sucks that, I don't get to fuck you, it's still, I at least get to go to sleep and feel like I didn't try to manipulate someone that clearly didn't want what I wanted.
Yeah. You had mentioned before, how to approach the situation. Would somebody in this position, I know we're not, in a daddy dom relationship, but you have had several, daddy dom relationships, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
And so what would be the best course of action for this person? Right. Let's say they didn't experience the breakup yet. What would be your part of the conversation?
Well, if they hadn't, at that point, you guys have to sit down and literally table meeting this, because there is definitely a conflict in philosophies in what you believe a relationship, what he believes a relationship is. If it was something, he's coming in gaslighting. That's where I'm like, fuck this guy, get the fuck away from this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, she sounds like kind of, and she said, am I being young and naive here? A little bit. Not necessarily the young doesn't matter, but inexperience does matter. You haven't been in a lot of these relationships, so you don't know what your voice is and your ability to speak up for yourself. But what he's doing when he's kind of like, you should expect this, and this is that, that's douchey. That's just straight douche. Yeah. Fuck this guy. If he was coming in and saying, hey, I misunderstood, but I really like you, can we kind of talk through this and redefine, I want to find out what you mean. Because he fucked up. His fucking up as the daddy dom, as the person in the power position of the relationship, it's basic 101 that he should have negotiated more clearly and not stop that negotiation until he was satisfied that she understood what his point of view was.
Yeah, pause it all and start from almost from scratch.
Yeah, let's go back into scratch. Let's just sit down and go, because it says that we had a contract, so he had all the things except the basic. What does she want? What does she think this is? That's what happens when you assume things about people. Is you just say, oh, well, you're this, so you have to think like this, and it's like basically dehumanizing to somebody. And it's on both ends. She had an expectation of him that, no, you're just going to fuck me and be my daddy, and I'm going to get all mushy in the scene, daddy, 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 and then the second it's over, I don't care what the fuck you think about anything, I'm going to go do what I do.
Yeah.
So it was assuming and selfish kind of on both sides. And there's another human that has needs and their feelings and things, and the best way to deal with that is to just get it all out.
Yeah. And I see this as great learning lessons for myself too, as someone who would just, in the negotiations, I'd be like, here's the scene. This is what I would like. And then, not think about different smaller things that could come up. And this is the stuff I like reading that gets me really, really like, hey, even though I've been doing this for a long time, there's a lot of shit that I just haven't been doing, and bringing it home to be like, okay, well, now that problem did come up, but I'm already ready for it, and I don't make the same mistakes as the past. So like this one.
That goes back to like just orientation mentality. And that is, and I've said this, I maybe haven't said it in a while, that one of my biggest benefits of doing this show is I'm the person that will make many mistakes if I stay away from the basics for too long.
Yeah.
If I'm not recirculating those basics, and that's what's so great about doing the show, is we are constantly reading these things and going, oh yeah, negotiate. Oh yeah, not just negotiate, but compassion and dealing with the other person and listening, all of these things. If empathy, I wasn't every fucking week, if I'm not thinking about those things, it's very easy to get comfortable and be like, I know what the hell I'm doing. I've been doing this for 20 years. 20 years. Well, maybe 18, but okay. But still, long goddamn time.
Yeah.
Long time, right? So yeah. I got this, Uncle Creepy. I know how to do this. But over time, it's very easy for things, once again, in your point of view, to change because you're so comfortable in it that you forget that a new person has no idea. And now you all of a sudden are leaving out very important things that will then blow up and be disasters. And then after all of your experience, you're like, oh, wow. Oh, I'm a dick. I missed things that are literally BDSM 101. These are basic things. So never allow yourself to get away from those basics. If you're in a public scene and you have a dungeon that does that orientation, go to it.
Yeah.
Once a year. Just go into it. Just go and sit. Go to take a basic class. Read those things. Make it some sort of play scene. If you have an established partner and, maybe do like a newbie orientation just for fun. Like do a role play like you guys are new and you guys don't know what you're doing. And that'd be fun. And you can still make it sexy. But keep yourself in those basics because they save your ass over and over and over. The reason they are called the basics is because they are our foundation, and without the foundation, the building crumbles every time.
Yeah, buddy.
So that's why they're basics. It doesn't mean they're less. It doesn't mean they're not advanced. These are all the foundational things. They're called the basics. They are not simple. They save your life. That's why you do that. That's why you learn it at the beginning. Put on your helmet. Wear your protective clothing. Don't stand next to the fire. Basics are the lifesavers. You can get nuance later with the, blah, blah, blah. But those basics, which were not used in this conversation, and we see the effect of that.
Blew up in their face.
Yeah. Thank God we were here to fix it for them. In our wisdom.
we fixed Daddy Dom relationships.
We fixed Daddy Dom relationships. Praise Jesus.
Does that, Boogie? Let me ask you. We've been in the scene for a while, and I thought about this when I was at the dungeon. I was sitting at the couch and was talking to the host, and somebody was coming up, and they sat down and they were listening to us and talking to us, and they were younger, and I kind of thought about like, why is this person over here doing this stuff? And then I was like, oh shit, am I an elder now? Have I become an elder in the kink community? and I started thinking to myself, like, I was like, shit, I think people are going to start listening to the things I said. And then we were talking about the classes I'm going to teach, and I'm like, oh shit, people are going to learn stuff from my fucking class. And I was like,
fuck ups,
yeah. I was like,
well, that,
fuck,
I mean,
man,
it's a good thing. I mean, first off, great to know that we fucked up enough that people want to listen and go, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But then there's also the thing, like it is great to have all of the experiences that we've had, the hundreds and thousands of experiences that we've had. I've literally been a part of like over 1,000 play parties.
Sweet.
Like either managing, setting up a chair, being a part or attending. That's a blessing and a curse. But
yes.
that means I have something to offer someone so they don't have to have pain and suffering. So it's, that I can go, hey bro, that's going to hurt. That's going to, that's going to be
can't wash that properly.
That doesn't come out with bleach. There's no Tide country you're going to get that one out, but you can easily avoid it by just doing this or being simply. Yeah, we're old.
Whipped cream too much. Yeah, it turns to butter.
It's amazing. The younger people, and it is a responsibility to not take lightly, and you try to, and we always make the jokes that we're doing this because we fucked up, but the reality is I have confidence. If you want to talk about kink and BDSM and the BDSM kinky lifestyle, I have experience. I have valid experience. Yeah. I've done thousands of things with hundreds of people, and I have been to many, 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 many classes by amazing teachers and things. I do have something to share that is of value, and I have confidence in that. But I also have humility that most of people are going to learn from me is where I fucked up.
We're fucked up. And also that I do know a lot of things, but a wise man knows that he knows nothing. And
still learning. We
still learning.
That's why we do the show. I get to I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought of the thing we talked about before. I had a whole new point of view that I hadn't thought of. There's always going to be something. And that's what's exciting about the community, whatever you call it. To be a part of that is you're learning from other people's experiences, and you're going to constantly hear things that you're like, in 20 years, I've never even thought of that. You're going to have that same, if you're into it, if you explore it, you're going to be discovering new exciting things at 40 years into this lifestyle. There are millions of things that are interesting and can make you a better person.
Agreed.
If you just listen.
Agreed.
We're so wise.
We are the wisest.
We are. It's just two Yodas just sitting here.
You know what? There's some monks walking through for peace and stuff. I think I'm going to start my own kinky monk walk where I go through and
Let's do it. We're there. All right. We should have shut up like literally minutes ago.
Just cut it, Boogie. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Then there goes, bye, alien hamster. See you soon.
Call me bitch.
Wow, excuse me. Sorry. And with that is the end of show 443. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, or topics you'd like us to talk about, please reach out to us at pervertedpodcast@gmail.com or find us on TikTok and Instagram under the name Perverted Podcast. And on FetLife, there is both a group and a page. Please help support the show by liking this episode and subscribing to the show. And don't forget to share the show with your friends to help other kinksters like you find us. And if you'd like to support the show a little bit more, please go to our Patreon at patreon.com/pervertedpodcast, and you can sign up for our $5 if you give a fuck level, and you could become a PP sugar zombie. With that support, you get our show a few days early, and you get our Patreon exclusive Half a PP episodes now with more Uncle Creepy, and it's only for our patrons. And of course, love and smushy kisses to our patrons around the world. Your support means the world to us.
We'll see you guys on the next big one.